Hello, welcome everybody. Welcome to another stream. We are back live in Flight Simulator 2020, and we're going to be taking out the Flight Sim Studios ERJ 175. Been flying it quite a bit. We've got these panels made that I've been making, and show you guys a little bit of these. So yeah, so there we go. We got the night dimming all. Looks like they're pretty well lit up, but they're actually pretty dark. So got the night dimming working on most of these. So we give it a test flight in the night. I know it's not fun to watch at night, but we do got some low visibility here in my hometown. That's why we're doing. I know we're doing another one back to Springfield, but it's got some good weather. Should be a fun one to do with shooting an approach. I haven't really ever had to shoot an approach in this one, so we'll give it a whirl. So passengers are getting loaded, and we are getting everything set up. And let's go ahead and get our MCDUL program. So KSGF, and we'll be operating under Envoy 3393. Go ahead and send that. Alright, so that's been sent, so we'll go ahead and apply active. And departure is going to be runway, what was that again? I think it was 36 right, that's what it was. 36 right, and we're going to be doing the Acuna 9 with the MLC transition, and we'll hit apply, and our arrival is direct, but we know that we are not going to do that, so we'll get that when we get up in the air. So for right now we're good there, and got all that set. So let's go ahead and let's get our flight details all programmed in. Import that one. Yes, we want that one. And departure, we're going 36 right, and dry, and flaps in 1, and we'll go ahead and circle that. So 2989 is our 340 at 5, and it's 12 degrees outside. We'll go ahead and hit calculate, and it is loading. As you can see, GSX is loading down here, so passengers are getting loaded, and flight plan has been received. So we'll go ahead and go to our performance initialize, and our cruising altitude today is going to be flight level 310. Zero fuel weight. Zero fuel weight's going to be 64,273. 64,273, not 273. And we can go ahead and hit next. And our cruise speed is going to be 290.78 Mach. And I like that, so that's all initialized. So let's go to takeoff. And the wind, what was the wind? It was 340 at 5. And next, and flaps 1.
Conventional aircraft DFW ground stepping out for 5 minutes.
DFW ground is stepping out, so should be working. Volume, let's turn that up to 100. Let's go back to our radios. 135.925. Try 123.775. It's not working, so let's just 135925.
Notices to air mission. ASX in use. Operate transponders with altitude reporting mode enabled on all airport surfaces. Advise on initial contact. You have information alpha.
Information alpha.
Dallas Fort Worth International Airport departure information alpha 01530. 1340 at 10. Visibility 10. Sky clear below 12,000. Temperature 12. 2.8. Altimeter 29er. Simultaneous power traffic departing runway 36 right. 3 civil. Notices to air mission. ASX in use. Operate transponders with altitude.
Alright. So we've got all of that. And just checking the departure here. So let's go to our flight plan. So we should have Haskell and then Rhine and then Acuna. Yep, looks all good there. So that's all good there for 36 right. Should be a pretty simple taxi down to the ramp. So we'll looks like we are.
Attention aircraft, DFW ground is back.
It's into the. And DFW Envoy 3393. Get this set up to 200. And DFW. Push to talk's not working. On radio 121.65.
Up.
There we go. Huh. Wonder if that button's not working on our joystick anymore. Try. Push to talk. Try. Huh. I don't know what to do here. It's our push to talk button is not wanting to work. Well, push to talk, set a new button, wonder. Well, let's try. So the mic is on. Just for some reason this button is not working, and it's not wanting to allow me to push the button. So let's maybe try and disconnect. Envoy 3393, yep. Now it's working. Oh, just disconnected and reconnected from there. So, all right. So we're good there. And Dallas Fort Worth ground, Envoy 3393 with information Alpha. We're ready to push.
Envoy 3393, DFW ground. Push and start is yours. You can just call ready for taxi.
Alright, well, ready, and we'll call for taxi, Envoy 3393. Alright, let's go ahead and get pushed. I thought that was the case, but I just wanted to double check, because the last thing I would want to do is go ahead and push back. And so let's go ahead.
Good evening, American 1634. It's the Alpha Gates. Like to pick up our clearance to San Diego.
American 1634, DFW ground. I don't show a flight plan for you.
And whoops.
Okay, let me fix that.
Alright. And I accidentally disconnected the GPU and didn't have the APU started. How silly is that?
Departure checks completed. Bypass pin inserted.
That's kind of silly. Alright, so let's go ahead and get our checklist out before start. And pre-flight checks are complete. Fuel quantity is checked. We've got 10,190. MCD is all set. Crew oxygen is set at 1,750 psi. Altimeters are cross-checked. Is good. Flight instruments are set. And passenger signs are on. Takeoff briefing is complete. Seatbelt, shoulder, and harnesses are on. Takeoff performance is set. Auto brake is set to RTO. And auto brake is set to RTO. Trim is set for center. We need to be 3 up. There we go. And we need to do, we'll do nose right, tail left. There we go. Transponder is set to on.
American 1322,
and parking brakes off. There we go. Alright, we're good for start. We'll go ahead and start engine number
Last aircraft
2.
calling, say again.
American 1322 is ready to taxi with Alpha.
American 1322, thanks for Alpha. Reading a little bit broken. You can taxi runway 36 right via Golf, Whiskey, Quebec.
Runway 36 right via Golf, Whiskey, Quebec, American 1322, and we'll try and fix that.
And we're just going to let our engine start up here. N2 is good. ITT is rising. And while we're waiting here for us, if you guys would hit that like button and that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, it does help the channel grow. Alright, waiting for our confirmation for a good engine start. And we do have a good engine start. So we will confirm.
Cockpit to ground. We have a good
And
engine
we'll go ahead and start engine number 2, or number 1. Hydraulic pump number 3 comes on. Alright, and
Tow truck disconnected. Bypass pin removed. Left is clear. Right is clear.
turn off our dome light. And everything looks good, so we're going to go ahead and continue after start checklist, which is flaps are set to 1. APU, we don't need that. We'll go ahead and turn that off. And hydraulic pump is on, and flight controls. Let's go ahead and check the flight controls. Full elevator, full down, full rudder left, full rudder right, up, down, and flight controls are set. And we'll go ahead and turn our TCAS on and our terrain. That's all set. And we need to go ahead and set our ACARs, which we already did, but we'll double check that just to make sure that we are flying like we're supposed to be, and we are doing well there. So we're good. And let's go ahead and get our taxi lights on. And we are set for taxi. And Dallas Fort Worth ground envoy 3393 is ready for taxi at Gulf 5.
Envoy 3393, squawk to 0666.
0666 envoy 3393. We didn't set our squawk, which was 0666. Man, that's a rough one.
Envoy 3393, runway 36 right, taxi via Golf Whiskey Romeo.
Golf Whiskey Romeo to runway 36 right, envoy 3393. And I don't really know if I really like this transponder code.
Yeah, I don't pick them. I think I can change it though if you want a new one.
Nah, that's alright. We're not that superstitious, but it doesn't look good right now. But we'll be fine. Thank you.
American 1322, wind 34010, tower
yeah, our squawk
offline.
code is
You can monitor
666.
CTAC 126.55. Thanks for flying Fort Worth Center.
Somebody is...
Stop and have a good night, American 1322. Is this still coming in broken?
Yeah, the last transmission is a little bit better.
Okay.
Still seems a little bit broken.
Alright.
Alright, well, we are on our way up to Springfield. Supposedly doesn't have good weather there, so we might have to reset our active sky, because sometimes it doesn't really want to load what the true things are. So usually once we get up in the air, I'll turn it off and turn it back on. The airplane doesn't really like whenever I do that, but that's what we're going to do. So everybody been asking about the 2024, and we do have the Phoenix in there, and all the panels and everything work with the Phoenix, but it's not, I don't think the sim's quite stable enough. I get too erratic on a lot of my FPS, because I can go anywhere from 100 down to like 30, and it's few far in between. Sometimes I've even gotten down to like 9, and I had no reason why. I haven't changed any of my settings. I haven't done anything different than I normally do. So don't think that it's quite ready for me to stream on. I know I did one stream and it seemed like I didn't have any issues, but I've been testing it out, and it doesn't seem to be too happy with me, so with some things. So also been beta testing the 727 by Flight Sim Studios. They were nice enough to allow me to participate in the beta for that, so been working on that. So I really like this. Really liking this ERJ 175 from 170, and I'm sure the 190 is good. I didn't purchase the 190s just because whenever I get to my hours, I would love to fly this exact route and fly for this company. So would love to be based in Dallas or Phoenix. That would be the best. So we'll get to the line, and normally we would request takeoff with tower, but there's no tower, there's no center online, so 132550, so that'll be our next one, will be Memphis Center.
Envoy 3393, wind is 34010, tower is offline. You can monitor CTAC 126.55. Thanks for flying forward center.
Over to Unicom and clear for takeoff on 36 right. Envoy 3393, appreciate you being on. Have a good night.
Envoy 3393, just to clarify, she changed to the CTAP frequency for DFW, which is 126.55. When tower is offline, we use CTAP in the airport area. And then I can't clear for takeoff because I'm just a lowly ground controller, so that's up to you.
All right, well, I had more hopes for you than that, so yeah, we'll get over to Unicom and communicate with them and see if anybody's in the area. Appreciate your service, man. Envoy 3393. All right, which I know you weren't clearing me for takeoff, but that's all right. Anyway, on to the next thing. In the real world, you do contact tower, so he is right there. All right, so before takeoff, cabin is secured, takeoff data is reviewed, ECAS, we have 0, brake temp is checked, we are all good on our brake temp, and takeoff config is checked.
No takeoff.
There we go, and lights are coming on, strobes are on.
Takeoff okay.
There we go.
No takeoff. Brake.
Yes, I know that. Alright, so we are all good. Let's go ahead and depart.
Takeoff okay.
Don't see anybody out there, don't hear anybody. And Dallas-Fort Worth traffic, Envoy 3393 is departing 36 right, and we'll be departing for the Acuna 9 departure. Dallas-Fort Worth traffic. Alright, let's get out of here. What do you guys say? Let's get on to Springfield. Here we come. Auto throttles are on and armed. And engines are coming up. And there's 40%, 50%. And auto throttles are taking over. And takeoff power is set. Airspeed is alive. Engine instruments are all green. Continue takeoff. 80 knots cross check. V1 and rotate. Positive brake, gear coming up. flight level change, and we'll go ahead and put on our AP, and flaps can come up. And the top altitude for this departure is 10,000, but we did file for 310, so we will go ahead and climb all the way up to 310. We'll just say that we have been cleared up to that, so that way we can get up there and cruise as long as we possibly can. So climbing through 3,100. And there's our 5,000. One 13255. Put that in the standby. Yeah, climbing through 8,000. And we can go ahead and start speeding up a little bit to 220 knots, 240 knots actually. Alright, climbing through 10,000. Go ahead and turn the fasten seatbelt signs off. And inspection light can all come off. And the landing lights can come off. Flats are retracted. After takeoff checklist. Landing gear is up. APU is off. Verified is off. It is off. Double check. Yep, she's off. As we start on our turn. And we're coming up through 14,000. Seatbelt signs are off. Stereo cockpit is off. There we go. And that is all good. Alright, everything's looking good. Climbing through 16,000 on our way up to 310. Sync up our heading bike here. And we are on our way to Acuna. Look at Dallas out there. Alright, coming up through 18,000, so we can go ahead and hit standard and standard. And pressurization is looking good. Got a cabin altitude of 2,700 feet at a rate of 350 feet per minute with a pressure of 6.5 psi. So that is all looking good. Should have checked on that before 10,000, but needs to be in the checklist. And it is not. We will get that added. I did make my checklist myself that I have. I took what FSS gives us and kind of made my own. So there it is. And then just a folded sheet of paper, fold it in half. And that's what I use for my safety and power up before start, after start, before takeoff, after takeoff, descent, before landing, and after landing. So that's what I typically do. So, but if you want, leave a comment in the comments, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I appreciate all the comments. Some of the last viewers were asking about Air Manager and what it's capable of. So if you buy a full subscription, so we'll kind of talk a little bit about that. So the Air Manager is it's a program, it's a software, it's a standalone software program that talks to multiple different simulators. It talks to X-Plane, FSX, and then MSFS 2020 and MSFS 2024. It does a lot of the light flight simulators, and it is a software program where you can build instruments and panels to put on other monitors besides the flight simulator. You can put them on the flight simulator monitor if you wanted, but don't know how that would work. But yeah, so that's how I create all of these home cockpits, by using touchscreens. So these are I've got, we talked about it before, but this is a 22-inch touchscreen, 22-inch touchscreen, 15.6-inch touchscreen, and above me, that you can see up above there, is another 22-inch touchscreen. And that is basically all of the touchscreens. And then I have DIY knobsters to be able to turn knobs and that kind of stuff. And that's how I've built my entire cockpit. So I can literally, in a matter of just 5 or 6 clicks, I can switch over to the Phoenix, and all of it works, all of it, and I can have a full home cockpit as well. That's what I like, the versatility of this. Yes, there is cool to build, an actual same size and replica of a A320, but I like to fly multiple different airplanes. So this is just behind this board, behind these, how my screens are attached, is just a MDF piece of 2 foot by 4 foot plywood that I've built kind of just out of wood, and I mount them just like I would mount a TV to a wall. Just screws that drill holes in the plywood, put screws through it to hook up to the back of the computer. I think they're M3s or M6, whatever screws that go into the back of a monitor. Screw those in with a couple washers, and that's what holds this onto it to where you can touch it and move it around, and it doesn't. It's pretty stable. So the nice thing is now that we have the ambient dimming, we can dim the panel based on the sunlight in the simulator. So that's how you can see my panels are dark, and then if I hit day, You'll watch. So if I turn off the auto and I turn it on day, so now you see they're much brighter. But as soon as I hit auto, it automatically dims them because it grabs whatever the sun is inside the simulator and wherever you are. So, but yeah, so that's basically what that is. And then, so Air Manager is the program that runs it all. So there's an Air Manager desktop version, and then there's an Air Manager Air Player. If for Microsoft Flight Simulator, you have to pop out these screens that, you know, everybody can see. You have to pop these out by holding the right control and then clicking the left mouse button, and that pops the screen out, and that's how I get the screens dragged onto my other monitors. And so I pop out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why in MSFS 2020 it was kind of stinky, because whenever we would be flying, we would pop these panels out. It would hurt our FPS by popping these screens out. And so that was a little bit of the gripe that we had with MSFS, but they've seemed to get that fixed, or at least it doesn't hurt as bad as we used to by popping them out. But then we just build these panels and these instruments. So I built literally every so this is, I have built this, I built the EFS, I built the autopilot, I built the standby, I built the auto brake, I built the ground proximity, 1,000 to go on our altitude. I've built the MCDU, I've built the engine starters, I've built this knob down here, and I built the radio panel, I built the trim panel, and then I've also built the little takeoff button. I've built all of these inside of Air Manager, and then I display them on my touchscreen. And then there's a Sim Connect that, as soon as I push the button on my screen, it immediately fires that to the simulator, and it turns the simulator on. Just like right there, I turned it from manual speed mode into the managed speed mode, and so now it's taken over and is the autopilot is off of the manage and the MCDU. So, but what's the difference between the desktop and the Air Player? Air Player just works on an iPad. So yes, you can put an iPad and an instrument on there, but if you want to use like a bezel, or let's say the G1000 or the GNSS 530, you have to pop that screen out and you put it onto that monitor with the bezel around it to make it look like it's a real instrument. And so if you use the Air Player, you can't do that because you can't pop out the screen and drag it to another iPad. So that's why a paid subscription of Air Manager, and it's a one-time fee, it's lifetime, and so that's how you can, but it works with multiple simulators. So if you're an X-Plane person, you can use it, Air Manager, on that. If you like the original FSX Microsoft Flight Simulator, it works with that. It works with Reborn or whatever the other one is, and then it works with 2020, and then they have a beta which is free to you since you have a paid subscription. They have a beta version. It's not technically out and released yet, but they do have Air Manager Beta 5 that you can download for free and use. That's what I'm currently using. That works for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. So that's how we have been able to start transferring some of these instruments to where they work into 2024 as well. So yes, it does work with it, but it's not, the software is not, the actual stable release version is not out for 2024 yet. So you might get crashes, you might get, it's not going to work as a stable like it's supposed to in the beta version. I haven't had very many issues with it, some crashes here and there, but if it does crash, the nice thing is these are all variables that you're subscribing to do these instruments. Because all you have to do is turn it back on, and it resubscribes to all the variables, and it puts the switches and the dials and everything in the same place whenever it crashes. So it's not like it's going to mess anything up. So there's that. So that's a little bit about Air Manager. We don't have anything to do with Air Manager at SIMSTRUMETATION. We just are a couple of guys that I like this. Like, I like to fly the ERJ 175. I built all these instruments, and so I just give them to people on our Discord for free. You don't have to pay for them. Only thing you have to have is the paid subscription to the Air Manager. So, and then we've just built kind of a community of people that like to do this, and some have great graphics, some don't have good graphics but work. So it's all in whatever you're comfortable with. So So that's kind of the Air Manager in a nutshell. So here we are at cruise, and we probably maybe need to start monitoring over on Memphis Center, so because we're going to be crossing through there. We're still a ways out, and so we'll go ahead and probably switch over and start monitoring them. So I haven't heard anybody on this, which we haven't set our intentions either, but so I know that on the thumbnail it does say commercial pilot. Yes, I do have my commercial pilot rating. No, I do not fly for anybody. I don't have enough hours to, so I'm going back and starting my CFI training January 3rd, and I'll get my CFI to be able to teach people to fly real airplanes, and then build up some time, build up some hours, and hopefully be able to go to
FedEx 247 Heavy, the field.
the airlines and fly for Envoy.
Let me know when you get it.
Roger, land the field in sight, FedEx 247 Heavy.
FedEx 247 Heavy clears approach runway 36 rain, contact tower 119 airpoint 7.
Cleared the approach 36 right and over to the tower on 197 FedEx 247 Heavy. Happy night.
You too.
So let's go ahead and get some music going.
Delta 1231 Memphis Center. FedEx 52 Heavy 8 is information. Quebec's now current. Expect visual approach runway 36 right. That's aircraft 8 is Quebec's current 2986.
I don't know, what do you guys think? Should we let them know that we're out here? Yeah, Memphis Center, Envoy 3393. We're just outside your airspace to the southwest. Just wanted to check in with you.
Envoy 3393 Memphis Center, good evening. You're just going to be clipping my airspace for about, I don't know, 30 miles or so. You can go back to Unicom 1228.
Alright, we'll go back over to Unicom for 1228 and manage our own descent. Envoy 3393, appreciate it.
Thanks.
There we go. We don't even have to talk to anybody. How about those apples, guys? That'll work for us. Looks like there's a host of centers online, which is good to see. So we are direct Reeves, and we need to be at Reeves at 3,000. Whoa there. Hello there. And that's me. I'm just resetting the weather here. Re-inputting it back into the sim, injecting it back in. It's like I said, seems like whenever I'm flying and I get on my way there, it'll say broken or overcast, that whatever, and then I get there and it's like, well, there's so destination is 2991, temperature is 8, surface winds are 042 at 2, and let's see, it says clouds, so 050 at 4 knots is what they're advertising, broken at 2400, and broken overcast at 900, 4 statute miles of visibility, freezing drizzle, so we should have some icing conditions. So yep, we'll be monitoring the ice situation here. This aircraft is equipped with some de-icing boots. Well, that's the de-icing boots. It has right there on the front edge of that little silver thing that you guys see, those will heat up, and that will take the ice off the front edge, leading edge of the aircraft, and then also has some engine de-ice, and so we can handle some ice if we start to pick some up, and we'll get a little notification on our MDF screen here on the ECAS and let us know. And once we get about 130 nautical miles away from Reeves, that's when we'll go ahead and start our descent on down. I typically like to do, somebody that flies this aircraft or knows more about this aircraft than what I do will probably correct me, but I usually do a 2,000 feet per minute descent until we get to 18,000. Once we get to 18,000, I'll slow it down to 1,500 thereafter. So if you fly this airplane, or you're a real live pilot that flies for Envoy or flies for this aircraft, let me know in the comments. Am I doing it right, or am I doing it wrong? I know you don't want to go too fast down too quickly because of the pressurization and the depressurization of the aircraft, so All right. We do have a 93 knot tailwind pushing us off to the side, so got a pretty good ground speed going. We got 532 across the ground, and we're already at the 124 nautical miles. So we'll go ahead and give a chime to our attendants, let them know that we're going to start our descent. Fasten seatbelt signs are coming on. Go ahead and get buckled up, guys, and we'll go ahead and start our descent down to 3,000. Excuse me. And we'll VS that, and we'll start on down. And we'll go down at 2,000 feet per minute, and we're going to go ahead and switch into manual mode. And we're going to go ahead and slow on down to about 270 knots. .275-ish. We're just going to slow down to Mach 0.74 as we descend, just in case we hit a little bit of bumpiness. If we hit some turbulence, we'll slow down even more. But so let's go ahead and check our descent checklist. Lights and seatbelt signs are set. Altimeters, we'll go ahead and our latest altimeter is 2992, so it's standard, so we won't have to really worry about that. But altimeter set. Landing data, let's go ahead and get our perf. So let's go to our landing, and let's go ahead and get our runway heading, which is 139. And our temperature is 7 degrees Celsius. And we're going to be landing flaps 5. And the wind is, what are they having? 330 at 6. .330 at 6. That's pretty much a tailwind. So let's flop that. We're going to go 3-2. We're going to land on the runway 32. So our arrival, we're going to swap up. Runway is going to be 32. Arrival. And approach is going to be RNAV 32 and Aretha, and hit apply. And let's go direct. Flight plan is direct appel. And there we go. And now we're a direct appel. So let's go ahead and go to our flights, and we're going to swap out this for the RNAV 32, since that's what they're advertising, and we're going to change it to Aretha. And our minimums for Aretha is going to be 15, 18, which we're good there. So, alright, so that doesn't change anything. So, landing, we've got that all set. Next, landing data is all set. Our VREF is 131. And our approach speed is 136. And VFS is 189. Alright, that all looks good. So, landing data is set. Auto brake, and we'll go ahead and set that to low. And seatbelt shoulder harnesses are done. Approach briefing is complete. And at appel, we need to be down at 3,000 as well. So, and we are just coming on down. And Kansas City Center traffic, Envoy 3393 is starting our descent into the Springfield area. We're about 85 nautical miles to the south, inbound for the runway 32. Sorry about that. Just trying to adjust this wire for my... There we go. For my track IR. So we've got somebody out there right now. They're not going to be a factor. Shouldn't have any issues. Descending now through flight level 210. On our way down to 3,000 feet. At 280 indicated. Ground speed of 440. True airspeed 380. And made a liar out of me as soon as I say I haven't had very many crashes. There's our air manager crash. But like I said, just start it back up. And right back to what we were doing. And let's check our fuel. We've got plenty of fuel. We've got 8,000 pounds of fuel on board. 4,000 in each tank. Tanks look good. They're about 50 pounds off. Running out a little bit more out of the left. Oh, there it just switched. Now we're at about 40 pounds off. So we are good there. And we're coming down through 18,000, just under that. So we'll go ahead and slow us up to 1,500 feet per minute descent, and we are going to go ahead and change our baro 2992. And we're going to go ahead and start slowing down a little bit more. We'll go ahead and get down to our 250. I like to give myself a little bit of a buffer as we come on down, just because of the mere fact that just in case we overspeed or something of that nature, that we can slow us down a little bit, give us a 5-knot buffer. And we'll give a little bit of spoilers. Slow us on down to this 250. And there we go, there's our 245. And on our altitude, I'm going to go ahead and put in 5,000. Once we get a little bit closer, I'll make sure that we get down to the 3,000 for appel. Might keep us in the clouds a little bit, so we'll make that judgment call of how quickly the icing comes on and notifies us that we're taking on ice. And maybe we try and get down below them. I think it said it was 3,200, so if we get down to 3,000, it should get us below the clouds. Yeah, we've got about 40 nautical miles before we're at appel, which is our final approach fix. So we're just going to vector ourselves onto the final. And we're going to go ahead and hit heading mode, and we're going to go into heading mode and vector ourselves on in. Know the area well enough. Can vector ourselves as we get ready to go into the clouds. And we're below the 10,000 feet. Coming up on the 10,000. And we've got about 4,000 to go. And we're under the 10,000, and we are under our 250 knot, or 250. And we'll go ahead and flip on our sterile cockpit, let them know that we're getting ready for landing. And we're going to go ahead and start slowing down to 210 knots. And it'll be nice once they get the VNAV for, we can shoot LPV approaches and that kind of stuff, because that's usually what they shoot into Springfield, is the LPV through runway 32. We do have the ILS 14, but we'll try this. Might have to circle back around and shoot the ILS 14, depending on how light these clouds are, or how thick they are, and how close they get down to the ground. Yeah, got 3,000 set. We can go ahead and go on down to 3,000. Coming through the clouds, should be picking up some icing. Well, it says that the outside temperature is 4 degrees Celsius, so maybe not. Maybe it's just colder on the ground. Temperature inversion. And we're starting to see some of the ground, so should be good. And we'll go ahead and, once we get 15, about 15 away from Appel from our final, we'll go ahead and go flaps 1. I think we're good right now. Start slowing down to 200. And now we're there, so we can go ahead and go flaps 1 and get rid of our spoilers. $1,000 to go. And I believe we've got the airport in sight over there, so and we'll go flaps 2. And we'll go and flash the sterile button. Notify our flight attendants. Flaps are set. Landing lights are on. And landing gear is 3 green. We'll get that before landing. And before landing checklist is complete. And we'll go ahead and start slowing us down. And we'll go flaps 3. And landing gear down. And we've got the runway right out there in sight. And speed's 140. Right on the button. Doing well there. Engines are revving back up to help hold us there. We're at 3,000 feet, and we'll go ahead and start our turn inbound. Get us lined up with the runway, and we've got the runway in sight. Go ahead and turn off the autopilot, and we'll go ahead and fly her in. And we'll go flaps 4. And I think we can hand fly her from here, so everything looks good. Just got runway 32, which is right out in front of us. We're at 3,000 feet, which is where we would be. We're not going to have vertical glide slope, but we do have the VASIs in sight, so we'll be able to use those. And we will go ahead and slowly start turning our way in. Alright, before landing checklist, go through that again. Flight attendants are notified landing gear is down 3 green. We've got 3 green. Flaps are set. Landing lights are on. Go ahead and notify the attendants again. Alright, let them know. Here we come. We've been cleared to land. And Springfield area traffic convoy 3393 is on a 5-mile final for runway 32. Springfield area traffic. And we're just following the VASI down. We're a little above. And we're close enough. We'll go flaps 5. That'll be our final flap setting. As we're coming on in. We're a little above, which I've flown this a couple different times in real life, you'd want to see 2 white, 2 red, but right now we're 3 white, 1 red, and that seems to be about where the glide slope really is. It doesn't. There we go. There's our 2 white. Approaching our minimums. Auto throttle off. And reversers and spoilers deployed. And welcome to Springfield, Missouri. And coming through 80. Release the reversers. And we used all the runway up. All right. And we can go ahead and nose lights on, taxi, your landing lights are coming off, strobes come off, APU coming on, stereo comes off, and spoilers are coming up, and flaps are coming up. All right. There we go. There we go. And welcome to Springfield. Let's go ahead and taxi on into the airport, or into the ramp, which is going to be Whiskey Foxtrot to the ramp. In Springfield area traffic, Envoy 3393 is taxiing Whiskey Foxtrot to the ramp. Springfield area traffic. So, welcome to Springfield, back again. I think this is where we came the last flight. But like I said, I kind of wanted to do an approach. I've not really flown into any bad weather with this airplane, so I kind of wanted to do it just because they had some bad weather, or we had some lower clouds here. So that was kind of my goal, but I didn't think that it'd be this bad, which it ended up working out. Just because of we ended up having to flip it and go to runway 32 just because of the winds were looking a little bit better there, and so we the auto throttle was kind of annoying. I turned the auto throttle off just before we got there. I don't know what the real world is supposed to do with that. I think if you move if I move my throttles, it shuts the auto throttle off. So I'll have to get some clarification on that and see what the real world practice is with that. So we'll go ahead and slow us on down. When you're taxiing, you don't want to take a turn more than 10 knots in this thing, because it would make the people in the very back very sick with it. So you want to take them pretty slow. And you don't want to taxi more than a fast pace walk is what they call it. So it looks like we're going to be the only aircraft here. Shocked that there isn't more here. Usually it's pretty full here when it comes to this late at night. We'll go ahead and turn off our taxi lights and our inspection light so we can get into the ramp here so we don't blind anybody. And here's our gate. Bravo. See how well we do. So we got to stop at that first line. The other one's the CRJ line. So let's see how well we do. I think it's there. That looks about right. Let's see how we did. Can't quite see. Oh, looky there. Looks good to me. Let's call it good. All right. Well, let's go ahead and do our after landing checklist. So lights are up and required. Flaps are up. Trim is set back to standard, which is 4. Good there. APU start, shut down. Transponder is coming off. Radio Transponder is set to standby. Chocks and brakes are set. Get our chocks here. Wheel chocks. We are chocked. Alright, let's go ahead and turn off engine number 1. Or 2. And we'll go ahead and stop engine number 1. And turn off the fasten seatbelt signs. And we'll let them know that you can start the boarding.
The boarding requested.
American Airlines. Well, looks like they're getting everything hooked up. And so I appreciate everybody joining. And we will see you guys on the next flight. Have a good night, everybody.